A World Cup that has been celebrated for brilliant play, thrilling games, and joyous fan interactions that has now been sidetracked by allegations of corruption involving U.S. President Donald Trump. Now, at issue is the one-game suspension top U.S. goal scorer Folarin Balogun has supposedly was going to have to serve for getting a red card last week. Now, many who saw the USA versus Bosnia-Herzegovina match said the red card was not earned, but such are the rules of the beautiful game. It meant an automatic suspension, sidelining the star striker for the match against Belgium later today. FIFA adding at the time, there are no appeals that would be allowed. Then word came that President Trump had reached out to FIFA asking if the suspension could be reviewed. And when FIFA took the extraordinary step of lifting Balogun's suspension, citing a rarely used article, the sporting world and fans everywhere, quite frankly, erupted, many in anger. Belgium asked FIFA for an explanation, which FIFA treated as an appeal. Just a short time ago, FIFA said that appeal was denied. In fact, we can now report that that's it. The star striker makes it to the pitch. UEFA, meantime, Europe's governing body for football, says the integrity of the game is at stake. It called FIFA's decision unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustified. As for the U.S. president, he says he did nothing wrong.
All I did, I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. And, again, I'm good at this stuff. I didn't think it was a foul. I thought it was two great athletes that crashed into each other and got entangled. That was not a guy punching somebody in the face or anything that, would be different.
FIFA's president, Gianni Infantino, says there is nothing unusual about getting a phone call from President Trump, since world leaders call him all the time. He adds the decision to allow Balogun to play was made by an independent FIFA committee without any interference. Okay, you are all caught up, and now we are going to dive in. World Sports' Amanda Davis and Stephen Collinson joins us from Washington. All right, we're going to try and reset here so we understand what's happened and what may happen going forward. Amanda, to start with, Infantino went out of his way to stress that FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. They operate autonomously. So how did this reversal of the red card come about? And I'm really leaning on your experience here because I know you know a lot about how this goes down, even in other contexts.
Paula, it has been an extraordinary 48 hours. Let's start there. And you have to say unprecedented. That very much is the word. But let me just highlight the irony of what is happening here. You mentioned Belgium's appeal that took place. That has been dismissed for this reason. The request was rendered inadmissible on the grounds that the RBFA, that's the Belgian Football Association, is not a party to the proceedings and as such has no standing to appeal the decision. So the question I ask you is, how exactly is the President of the United States a party to these proceedings who has standing to appeal the decision of his national football team? Because it is absolutely explicitly written in FIFA, World Football's governing body, their statutes, that there must be no political interference in football proceedings. We have seen national federations, associations suspended, the likes of Kenya, the likes of Pakistan, for doing just that. And how has this come about? Well, you have to. Whatever Gianni Infantino says, his attempts to distance himself from the proceedings, you have to say that this has come about because of the relationship, the personal relationship that has developed between Infantino and President Trump over the years. Balogun is one of 13 players who have been sent off up to this point at this World Cup. As far as we're aware, there has been no review of the other 12 red cards that have taken place up to this point. And yes, President Trump has the ability to pick up the phone to Gianni Infantino, but it is raising serious questions about their relationship. And as UEFA, European football's governing body, put it, the crossing of that red line. There is a big difference, isn't there, between a relationship that relates to the logistical, organisational points of staging one of the biggest sporting events on the planet, and then that relationship interfering on the footballing field of play at the biggest competition in the world. And that is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that personal relationship between Infantino and the president has been well documented. Stephen, to you now in Washington, the president did have a lot to say in the Oval Office. He likely didn't do the USA or himself any favors. I do want you to listen first, though, to Belgium's foreign minister, because to Amanda's point, who has standing if not Belgium, if Donald Trump has standing? Listen.
Well, as a former football referee myself, I've always been committed to upholding the rules and ensuring fair decisions. And this decision, let's be frank, raises a lot of questions. If it is really one phone call that led to such an incomprehensible decision, that would be a flagrant breach of the most basic rules of football and sports. And that would be very serious. Or, for instance, could FIFA continue to advocate for fair play with any credibility? So, let's hope that the Belgium team will give the best answer on the ground in the coming hours.
Stephen, all eyes on the pitch, but not before they were in the Oval Office. The president didn't do anything to settle this down. He basically admitted that he initiated the appeal.
Yeah, I mean, that was what was so amazing about this. You had the president come out and said, yeah, I did it. I didn't think it was a foul. After watching on TV, I called up FIFA and asked them to change it. And then we all know what happened next. Sometimes you get that kind of candor from Trump. I think it's very reflective of the way that he does business and he wields power. You might argue that Donald Trump has been working the refs for the entirety of his political career, and even before that. He doesn't really see rules and conventions that are in place as any impediment to him wielding whatever power that he has, and he sees relationships that he's established as ways of leveraging that power. Now, you know, the problem is if Donald Trump can just phone up FIFA and get a decision changed, why does not any other head of state from any of the other, 48 countries in this World Cup, how come they don't have that opportunity? So you can see you get into a position where either FIFA is accused of hypocrisy or it could quickly lose control of this entire tournament. So it does make you wonder when you see the furious reaction outside the United States about this, for all Gianni Infantino's strength and power inside his organization, is he going to face a backlash for this himself?
And a shame, given that, firsthand, I know that this World Cup has been going seamlessly in terms of what the fans are concerned, and again, devoid of most politics until now.